I would believe that all of us got a lot of messages from that film. Mr. Diuk obviously is the pollution that's affecting everything that is here, but he is giving us an answer of what we can do to make a difference. And you've been introduced to Mr. Diuk, but the one person you haven't been introduced to is Terry Walsh, and Terry is the other formulator. Ayhan Diuk and Terry Walsh work together to do the formulations for the planet, the environmental formulas, the ones that you saw in the video. They also had a gentleman by the name of Randall Miller, and Randall was a visionary, and he worked with them also on this project. And we also had Andrew Nixon working along with them and helping with being a very precise scribe and helping them with documentations that they had to make. So there's been a lot of people, I haven't mentioned names, but that have been a part of this entire picture. It is a team of individuals, even though they are the original formulators. Perfect Science is the name of the main company, and it is a perfect science. It is a science of the future. It is something we don't have here from the past. It's not something that's being changed, and then it's being utilized. This is something new. I'm just at a conference that was in Zagreb, Croatia, and they had physicists there coming from Switzerland, Germany, Russia, and of course from Croatia. And it was a phenomenal conference, and what they were showing there was the fact they had not seen this before. This was definitely something new to them, but they're being very impressed in what they're seeing. The point, though, that we need to make is that Mr. Diuk and Terry have tried to emphasize to us that yes, what you see in the video is seeing what can be done environmentally, but we, each individual, has to work as partners on this planet, as part of the universe, to make a difference in what can be done to make corrections. Because if we start as individuals and we work in our own homes, in our own space, we can make a difference. The reason I said to think about what you watched on that video and to realize that what's in these products is that type of formulations, you can take it into your own home and can make a difference. We call it an environmental kit, we don't call it a household kit, and the main reason is, yes, you can wash your floor, you can wash your dishes, you can wash your clothes, but the main objective is not what you're doing in that perspective, because there are other environmental friendly products, but this is going to make a difference on the planet. Every time you take this solution, every time you mix it, you put it into your sinks, you put it down through your toilets into the sewer system. That's where we get the terminology sewer medicine. And it might seem lighthearted, but in essence it's reality, because the sewers go underground through every space. And we also know all the water tables are all underneath the ground. The water is being contaminated from the air to the ground to the water tables. It's a constant filtration that's occurring. So if we can attack through the sewers, if we can imagine this as being a team of soldiers, warriors, whatever you want to say, that just are taking these formulas and allowing them to go do their job. So every time you would take one of these, you're doing a change on the planet that's very important. For 21 days after you pour it down your drain or through the toilet system into the sewer, it's going to make a difference. It's going to migrate, it's going to go, it's going to inch its way. Any place you can imagine that water is going to go. There was a gentleman not too long ago that sent out a lot of tapes to people, and he was talking just the opposite. He was talking about how contamination gets out to the planet. He was even using the example of stating that if you took certain types of substances like vitamins or antibiotics or whatever it would be, and if a person didn't digest them properly, it was actually literally eventually getting to the sewer systems. And sometimes that was a recontamination that was occurring from the sewers and then again getting down to the ground and into the water tables, and we were actually taking that back into our bodies. Well, if you picture that same pathway, but now you're talking about a substance that's going to correct, that's what this is. It's going that same pattern, but this time it's going out and it's making the corrections. Again, it takes a little bit of imagination, but not a lot, to keep picturing that video and watching it in your mind, or if you get one of the videos and playing it at home for yourself or friends or people that come in contact with you and getting them to understand what's happening. The encapsulation is what you're seeing on the video. And literally the formulas, that's what they're doing. They are encapsulating around the toxins, okay? When they do that and they house the toxins, then they're breaking them down, okay? And then these are transmitted into bionutrients, amino acids, fatty acids. Our phenomenal story that we tell several times, but it's been done at different aspects. We did it, Mr. Dayuk has done it when he's been outside the country. Terry Welsh has done it also, and she just did it recently when they were in Zagreb. They take contaminated water, and one instance was in a hotel, it was actually in LA, and a man was there and he wanted to say, well, you know, can you show us this on a scale right in front of our eyes and so forth. So he went out and he had a container that had contaminated water that he'd gotten from the area, and he went out to the lobby and asked him if he could take one of the fish out of the tanks and bring it in, and he wanted to see what would happen. So he said, okay, fine. He said, if you can take your formulas and put it into this tank and change the formulation, the contaminated water, he said, then I'd like to put this fish in it. Was that okay? And Mr. Dayuk said, of course, you know, let's do this. So they did it. You know, they had the contaminated water. They knew what it was in there. And then they did the formulation. The water changed clear. And the man said, okay, fine, it looks clear. That's great, but I'd like to see what happens if we put something alive into it. So they took the fish and they put it into the tank, and the fish was very happy, and he's swimming around, and they had a little container with them, and they had dinner or whatever it was, and so the man was satisfied that not only the fact that the water looked clear, but they could also put something alive into it, and it was very happy and alive and had no problems. So the man took this container back to the lobby and said, thank you very much, could you put the fish back? And they did. Well, the next morning the man got a knock on his door in his hotel room, and the woman said, you are the gentleman that came and took the fish out of our tank, correct? And the man said, oh my gosh, what happened, you know? And she said, what did you do? The tank is beautiful, it's so clean, all the fish are happy, they're eating these little things that are on the bottom, you know? And what it was whatever was the contaminants that were in the water had been converted, and it was fish food, it was life, and they were eating it, and they were happy because of that. And they did the same experiment when they were in Croatia, and it was funny because you'd have to listen to Terry tell the story because it's the only way you really get the true impact of it. But she said they had done this and then left the fish tank, and they would be like us here, you know, we're here on Saturday and we're going to go, we'll come back on Sunday. And they came back and they said this fish was so excited it kept popping out of the water, you know, when they would come into the room. It was incredible, the people couldn't get over it. But it's these little projects like that that we see that really show us what it's doing. And later on this afternoon, Bill's going to talk about the animal formulas. And I think that that's a really important piece for us too, because it's all the creatures that can show us what these formulas do, because they teach us in what's happening to them and how sick they are because of the planet, and how when they come in contact with these formulas, it's done incredible things for them. And you know, we have stories with horses and dogs and cats, and Raphael has a cat situation, but you know, regardless if you're an animal lover or not, if you look at them and realize they're not intimidated, nobody's holding a bottle in front of them and saying, look at this great product, look at this great label, you know? They don't know that, you know? The cats, the dogs, they don't know that. This fish didn't know that. They really respond to it, and they know what it's doing, and it's healing them. And that's really teaching us what it can do for us. In the kit, for the environmental kit, there's also a couple extra things that are going to be on it. One of it is, it's called Clean Water. And in reality, as much of us believe that we live in a beautiful area like this here in Tahoe, and Raphael lives in Cuesta, the water really still is contaminated at different levels. It's not at all what we think it should be. It is not the pure, clean water that we're supposed to have on the planet, because pure, clean water would be a healing water. But what this does is you can take a small portion of this, you can mix it with your spring water, and then you'll raise your level of spring water to the best spring water that you could have, and then you really will have clean, pure spring water to drink from. So that's added to the environmental kit, because besides whatever else you're going to be doing, you'll be able to take this and change your water at home and be able to utilize it. Now, I'm not talking regular tap water. If you live in a city and so forth, you can't do that, but you can do it with water that's, you know, a bottled spring water. The other thing is this formula is called Skin Cleanser. This is truly a gift that they're putting into this kit for us, because it's not just a skin cleanser, but can do some phenomenal things for anything that's on the skin. Eventually, as they start working with it in the clinics, you're going to start getting a lot of feedback from the different doctors and so forth of what this can do for the skin itself. So anything that is on the skin of any level that you would want to affect and do a correction, you can utilize it. You can put it straight onto the skin with the sponge. You can actually leave it. You really don't have to wash it off. But after 20 minutes, you can rinse it with spring water. The rest of it is pretty much explanatory, except that, again, use your imagination a little bit. If you took a rug cleaner, okay, now we have the rug cleaner that's in the kit, and that's the one that you would use in your own home. In other words, you would mix it and you would spray it on your carpeting or spot clean it or whatever. There's another one that's an industrial cleaner that we have separate. And the reason it's separate is because a lot of times people are connected to schools like this or clinics or whatever, and there's carpeting. Well, you have a couple scenarios. You have chemicals that are in the carpet because you know there's hydrocarbons that are in there. There's formaldehyde. There's a lot of chemicals that are in the carpet. That's part of it. That's the chemicals. The other part of it is obviously the bacteria, the viruses that harbor in carpeting. And because of the unique ability of what these formulas can do, they're able to address that. So it's not just a factor of, okay, now I've addressed the chemicals, now I've addressed maybe the bacteria virus that's in there, but the point is, when you're walking on the carpet, okay, barefooted, you are literally picking up energy from the carpet because your feet are the part of your body that picks up a lot of energy. That's why you see a lot of, reflexology, a lot of massage therapists work with the feet, a lot of energy workers with the feet. There's other energy centers, but the feet are very important for absorbing energy. But obviously it can absorb negativity, the chemicals, the negative energies, the viruses, the bacteria. Viruses and the bacteria are alive, okay? And so those are something that's coming into our body that doesn't belong there. It's an entity that does not belong in our body. So every time you'd be walking over the carpet, literally you'd be absorbing that into your body. So it is a therapy. Again, sewer medicine. Sewer meaning it goes out to the sewers, but also what you're doing in your home and making a difference. You have a window cleaner, okay? Again, use your imagination. Do you really want to clean a mirror, or do you want to clean windows? Because what did he show you with the laser? I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying use your imagination of the possibilities of what this formulas can do. So in your own home, you really can make a difference, your own personal environment, and then helping the planet. First of all, understand that it is not water that they're working with and then they're doing something to it, and that's what you're utilizing when you're taking these formulas. It is